Hi guys, and welcome to your lessons over density. And density relates to volume, as you can see, because density actually equals our mass divided by our volume. Now, we want to make sure when we're thinking about this formula, density equals mass divided by volume, that we are actually able to manipulate that formula and solve for different parts of the formula. So let's think about this. If density equals mass divided by volume, what does mass equal? If you said opposite of divided by volume is multiplying volume, that it would be density times volume, you would be correct. And let's think about how the volume would relate. How would we solve for volume? Well, the first thing I would have is I'm going to look at this formula right here. I have density times volume equals mass. And if I divide by density on both sides, I get my mass divided by my density. So make sure you can work with the formula in any way. All right, let's look at a few problems together. Here we go. I'm being told the density of this metal block is, so I already know what D equals. Density is 6 grams per cubic centimeters. And that's a very common unit of measure for density. Okay, and I have to find the mass of the block. So I'm thinking about my formula, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got the density piece, and I need the volume piece. Well, luckily we've been studying volume, and we know how to find the volume of a rectangular, because it's not a cube, it's 5 times 4. That's the base, and the other base, a rectangular prism. Volume equals the area of the base, that's capital B, times the height. So in this case, volume equals the area of the base is going to be the 4 times 5. And our height is 7. So we've got 20 times 7. And it's going to be in cubic centimeters. Cubic centimeters sounds familiar. Now I have volume and density. So I can have my 6 grams per cubic centimeters equals, I'm looking for my mass, and then I have 140 centimeters cubed. Okay, let's think about how can I get the 140 centimeters cubed out of the denominator there. I would want to multiply. So if I multiply by 140 centimeters cubed, that would cancel. But if I do that on this side, I've got to do it on this side. Now what happens is the centimeters cubed still cancels, and I end up with 140 times 6 grams over 1 equals my mass. And when I multiply 140 times 6, I get 840 grams equals my mass. And that is a common unit of measure for mass. All right, let's look at another one. This time I have a triangular prism. If you recall, anytime you have a prism, the volume is going to be the area of the base times the height. So I have to think about, okay, the base in this case is a triangle. The faces are all rectangles. So let me calculate my volume first. So the area of the base is a triangle, and that's going to be my base times height, my little b, divided by 2. And then it's going to be times the height of the prism. So I'm going to have 4 times 7 divided by 2. And then my height is the edge of those rectangles that connects one base to the other. So this would be 14 times 8. Remember, all of our volumes are in cubic units. Okay, now I have to find the mass. Find the mass of the prism. So my density equals my mass divided by volume. So I'm going to have my 10 grams per centimeters cubed equals my mass divided by 112 centimeters cubed. Okay, once again, I want to get rid of dividing by 112 centimeters cubed. So that means I'm going to have 112 centimeters cubed over 1 times 10 grams per cubic centimeter equals mass over 112 centimeters cubed times 112 centimeters cubed over 1. Look for what cancels. And this will end up just being mass over 1, which is just 1. And here I have 112 times 10. And that's my grams equals my mass. Beautiful. All right. Moving on to another type of problem. Now we don't have ourselves a illustration to go for, but a styrofoam cup has a volume, so I know that V equals 400 centimeters cubed, cubic centimeters, and mass is 20 grams. Calculate density. Density equals mass divided by volume. So here my density is much easier. I've got my 20 grams divided by 400 centimeters cubed. And that means that my density equals 1/20 grams per centimeters cubed. And I could make that into a decimal. Grams per centimeters cubed. And again, that's a very common unit of measure for density. Let's do one more problem in this video, and then I'm going to break it up with something else. Okay, silver bracelet has got the volume of 0.75 centimeters cubed, and I've got a density of 9.6 grams per centimeters cubed. And I have to calculate mass. So I have my 9.6 grams per centimeters cubed equals my mass over my volume. Now I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation. By 0.75 centimeters cubed over 1. Look at what cancels. So mass times 1 over 1 is just going to be mass. And then I'm going to multiply my 0.75 times my 9.6. I get 7.2 grams equals the mass. Okay, guys, we're going to stop with these examples for right now, and I'm going to do a second video. Second video is going to be over population density and questions that relate to that. So go back through these if you need to, and let me know if you have any questions. You can hit me up in class or through It's Learning. See you in the next lesson.